Well, the Eagles just got exactly what they needed, as news dropped today giving us huge updates on the status of both Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson, and you're gonna love it. Plus, Jurgens just revealed that he's doing whatever it takes to get healthy, while a new trade target at edge rusher just emerged for the Birds, as the Maxx Crosby rumors have cooled off a bit, and so have the A.J. Brown trade rumors despite some new developments. However, some new wild trade rumors have come up regarding Jalen Carter, while the price of a Jordan Davis extension may have just been revealed. So let's talk about all that starting right now. Well, there's been a lot of talk about what the Eagles' next move should be this offseason, but there's absolutely no question that one of their top priorities needs to be extending defensive tackle Jordan Davis, and some new projections are floating around detailing exactly what a new contract extension might look like. And Ed Kratz actually just put out an article breaking down the entire thing very well, noting that, of course, Davis is going into the final year of his current contract, which is also his fifth-year option, and he's set to be paid about $13 million this season, but given the fact that the Juice Man, as he likes to be called, not only has become a very valuable piece of this Eagles defense and locker room just for his leadership and his energy, but also he truly did have a breakout season last year, putting up a career-high 4.5 sacks, 72 tackles, 9 TFLs, 6 QB hits, and 6 passes batted down. Not to mention the game-winning field goal block and scoop and score touchdown against the Rams. And if you watch the games, you know that JD's impact really does go beyond the stat sheet as well. So absolutely, he's earned a contract extension, not to mention that, as I've talked about before, extending JD actually saves the Eagles $9.3 million in cap space this offseason. So safe to say, they would like to get that done. Now, Kratz also notes that SpotTrack has a potential extension for Davis landing at about 4 years, $82 million, which that's an average of over $20 million a season. However, E.J. Smith of PHLY seems to think that it could be a little bit cheaper than that.
Which is Travis Jones with the Ravens, who signed an extension a few months ago. If you look at Jordan Davis' stats pitted with Travis Jones' stats here, this is since 2023. Travis Jones is at 1,796 snaps played. Jordan Davis at 1,593. You can see here that Travis Jones played a little bit more as a pass rusher. They've been equally as impactful in the run game. And Jordan Davis, while he has more sacks, he's got 10 compared to 7.5 for Travis Jones. Travis Jones is around the quarterback a little bit more in terms of pass rush win rate there. But Travis Jones is at $13.5 million a year. I think if that is the going rate for Jordan Davis entering this free agency period, I think you do that deal to secure his future. He's under contract, obviously, through next season, but I think it would make sense to sign him this offseason rather than see how next year plays out.
I'm hoping EJ's right, because obviously $13.5 million per year is a lot more affordable than $20+ million. And you honestly have to wonder if the Eagles could even afford to give Davis $20 million a season, just because they also got other extensions they got to get done soon, like for Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And I haven't even mentioned some of their pending free agents like a Jalen Phillips. So, I guess that's my biggest fear, that they can't actually afford JD, but I am 100% confident that they will at least try to extend him here pretty soon. But I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts. Do you think JD will actually get extended by the Eagles? And if so, how much do you think he's going to get paid? Amidst the Eagles' limited cap flexibility, though, the latest rumor that has emerged on Eagles Twitter is that Philly should consider trading their other star defensive tackle, Jalen Carter, which is insane, but stick with me. Eagles Eric went through the possible positives of it on Twitter, although he is not necessarily advocating for it, while neither am I, but he said that you could get back multiple first-round picks, or a player and a first-round pick in a trade. Also, Carter's value will never be higher than it is right now. The Eagles likely are going to have to overpay him this offseason in a potential extension. He's also had conditioning and injury issues, and here's the big one, trading him would create significant future cap room to get back out into the free agent market and to sign multiple of your other players, like Jordan Davis, for example, to big extensions. And yes, all these points are valid, but honestly, I don't really care about any of them. I mean, Jalen Carter is a generational talent at defensive tackle, and when healthy, he's a top 2 to 3 player at the position already and has the potential to be number 1. I mean, I truly do think if he's healthy and in shape, he could one day win a Defensive Player of the Year. So, while I don't deny that, yes, last year was rough for him and Jordan Davis clearly had the better season, you just can't even entertain getting rid of Jalen Carter this early. I mean, you're setting yourself up for major regret if you do that. So, I do not agree with this take at all. The same way I don't agree with all the A.J. Brown trade rumors, which, a couple days ago, we found out most of them have apparently been complete BS from the start, if Derrick Gunn is in fact correct with what he said. And I talked about this in my last video, but just to get you guys caught up, basically, D-Gun said that the Eagles want AJ back in 2026, and he also doesn't think that AJ ever really wanted to leave in the first place.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving!
But that report from Gunn isn't all, as Adam Schefter has also been on the record in the past saying that he was leaning towards AJ getting traded this offseason, but as of his recent appearance on 97.5 The Fanatic just this past Wednesday, his stance has officially flipped.
Well, I don't know what either Jeremy Fowler or Derrick Gunn initially said, then updated to say. I know what I said last week. I said last week that I felt like it could go either way. My guess, if I had to guess, would be I'd lean towards the trade, but it could go either way. Isn't that what I said last week?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd flip it the other way, and I'd still say it still could go either way, but I'd lean safe rather than out. We've always said that they're in the business of acquiring elite players, not unloading them. And I still think that that's the case. I'll still say, to me, it could go either way. I would be more inclined to say that he'd stay there. And by the way, like, I could come back on next week and shift it again to you.
What, reverse back? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
Shefty seems to clearly be playing the fence here, but still, his comments are just one more thing that are pointing towards AJ being back in Philly in 2026. I mean, I think it's become clear at this point, if it wasn't already, that AJ's frustrations were not with the Eagles or with Jalen Hurts like some people want you to believe, and in fact, they were just with the Eagles offense in general. And now that big changes are coming, it makes sense that the signs are all pointing to him being back in Philadelphia. But of course, now we have a new clip from when AJ was on a podcast with Gronk and Julian Edelman that I'm sure won't get blown out of proportion at all.
We're all patriots. You know that, right?
Are you going to be a patriot? Are you going to be a patriot? Do you want to be a patriot? I'm trolling.
Remember, AJ grew up a Pats fan. He said he's trolling. Like, this is nothing, guys. Don't freak out. And again, all signs are pointing to AJ staying, not to mention the insane $49 million dead cap hit that the Birds would have to eat on top of the $73.4 million in dead cap that they currently have if they were to trade him this offseason pre-June 1st. I mean, again, seems to me like AJ's sticking around. And unfortunately for some Eagles fans that were dreaming of a Maxx Crosby trade to Philadelphia, it seems to me like he'll be sticking around in Vegas as well. Shefty said that he was told that the Raiders do not want to trade Crosby, and even if they considered it, it would take a Micah Parsons type of trade package. Although he also noted that, like with AJ, his stance could change by the week. So again, still playing the fence there, but I already did an entire video breaking down the entire Maxx Crosby situation, so you guys can check that video out after this one if you want. But I said in that video that, while I don't think it's impossible, I do find a Maxx Crosby trade to the Eagles unlikely simply because of, one, how hard it would be financially, and also, two, we don't know if he and the Raiders are even headed for a divorce or not. So I'll keep you guys updated, but as of right now, I'm not holding out hope for Maxx Crosby coming to Philadelphia. Still, though, the Eagles do have to do something at edge rusher this offseason, and last video we talked about Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb or even Nick Herbig, all as potential options, but what about someone like the Jets pass rusher Jermaine Johnson, who's had a rough couple of seasons dealing with injuries and a down year this past year, but with the Jets trading Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams at the trade deadline this past year, and Johnson only having 1 year left on his contract, you'd think there's a chance that they would consider moving off of him too, especially since it would save them $13.4 million in cap space. And actually, Bleacher Report just named him as a trade candidate and listed the Eagles as a potential destination, with possible compensation being a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder. And I don't know, I guess it's an option that's at least worth considering, given that at his best, Johnson is a very good and productive pass rusher. He put up 7.5 sacks the last time that he was fully healthy in 2023. It's just that, again, he's dealt with injury issues. This past year, he just didn't have the production. Like, he only had 3 sacks. So I think it's a risk, especially since he is owed $13.4 million this year. And that price proposed in the article is a little high, in my opinion, just in terms of the trade compensation. So, you know, not exactly my number one choice, but still, if the Birds strike out elsewhere, then keep your eye on that as a potential option. Switching from the defensive line, though, over to the offensive line, we just got some absolutely huge news there, and you're going to love it. As the past few days, there's been a ton of speculation that Philly's O-line could look completely different in 2026. I mean, Thomas R. Peterson even tweeted this out on Wednesday, quote, "There's a very realistic scenario where Jordan Mailata is the only remaining current starter on the Eagles O-line after next season." And I guess that's not entirely untrue, although I'm not sure I fully believe it yet, but at the very least, after the reports today, we know that this year, things are pretty much going to be the same. As on Thursday, Jeff McLane gave us the news that we've all been waiting for and tweeted out, quote, "Lane Johnson just told me that he's officially returning for a 14th season with the Eagles." And then, not too long after that, Lane also confirmed to ESPN that he would in fact be returning in 2026. So there you have it. We've all been anticipating it. We've gotten all sorts of updates saying that Lane likely was going to be coming back, but it's official. Lane Johnson is coming back for at least one more year, and I could not be happier about it. I mean, Lane's return is crucial for obvious reasons. When healthy, I think he's still the best tackle in football. We also have seen over the years just how important Lane's availability is to the Eagles winning games and just how they function as an offense. And now, with a new offensive line coach coming in Chris Cooper and an entirely new system set to be implemented, it makes having a veteran leader who's still playing at an extremely high level like Lane even more crucial. So, again, to have him back is obviously great news. But it doesn't stop there, as a little bit later, we also got a big update on left guard Landon Dickerson, as of course, he's been contemplating retirement this offseason as well after dealing with a ton of injury issues last year, but Derrick Gunn just tweeted out, quote, "Despite his frustrations with health issues, Landon Dickerson is planning to return for the 2026 season per sources."
I think it's safe to say that our luck has officially turned around, guys. We are back, baby. We're back! Yeah. Classic! We are back!
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. That's obviously amazing news, because even though Landon didn't play well last year because he was injured, it would be very difficult to find an adequate replacement for him, and to see him retire because of an injury at just 27 years old especially would be a really tough pill to swallow. So happy for him that he's more than likely returning, and we also know that when healthy, Landon is one of the very best guards in all of football. He just has to get back to that point, so hopefully the offseason goes well and he's back to 100% strength by next season, fingers crossed. And maybe he could benefit by taking a little page out of Cam Jurgens' book and taking a quick trip down to South America, Medellin, Colombia specifically. How do you say that? How to say... Medellin. That's too foreign for me. Medellin, Colombia specifically, as Cam recently just went down there for a health reset week in which he got a very advanced form of treatment to hopefully finally fully get healthy after what was an injury-plagued season for him, as he was able to get stem cell treatment at BioAccelerator, which is a company that specializes in customized cell therapy to help treat individuals with chronic disorders. And this is a treatment that is very heavily restricted in the US, hence him traveling all the way down to the company's treatment center in South America, but other big-name athletes have used it in the past, including Kobe Bryant, Cristiano Ronaldo, and George Kittle. And personally, I think this is awesome. Jurgens never looked quite right coming off that back injury that he suffered late in 2024, and he dealt with other various injuries throughout the past year, to the point where he went from one of the game's better centers in 2024 to one of the worst in 2025. So if this stem cell treatment is what he needs to get back to full strength, I'm all for it, and I absolutely love the dedication that Cam has to getting his body right and getting healthy for this upcoming season. But say the Eagles do want to add more depth on the offensive line this offseason, which, let's face it, that's still the smart thing to do with how last season went, well then, what about going out and bringing back a familiar face in Mekhi Becton, as it was reported by Evan Sidery that Becton's expected to be cut by the Chargers to save cap space, so in the event that the Eagles can afford him, which they most certainly will be able to after his lackluster last season, why not bring him back? Now, yes, Jeff Stoutland is not the offensive line coach anymore, and I have to imagine that he was the main reason for Becton's success in 2024, so there's a little bit of a drawback and concern there, but still, Stout is expected to help mentor where possible with the Eagles. Becton would be cheap, and you're also not relying on him to play a starting role unless someone goes down. So I say, why not, assuming that both sides are interested, and we'll keep our eye on that situation as we get closer to free agency. But all that said, you guys know that I'm going to be continuing to cover everything that happens for the Eagles this entire offseason, whether it's full videos, shorts, live streams, I got it all coming. And again, sorry I missed my live stream Wednesday night. I've been trying to do those weekly consistently, but I'm going to try and make it up either tomorrow, the next day, sometime later this week. So be on the lookout for that. But to get notified for that and everything else Eagles related this entire offseason, then subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way, again, you don't miss anything. And also hit the like button because that really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes today. And also hit the hype button because that helps me out a ton as well. And leave a comment just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you do want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this out right here. And with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.